Well, some latest news coming in, and this is the news coming in from Chhattisgarh. The former female commander of the Amdai area community. Now, she's one of the she's somebody who was earlier a part of the naxal insurgency and now has surrendered and joined the mainstream. She has voted for the first time after believing in democracy. After surrendering, Sumitra Sahu became a constable and is fighting the Naxalites right now. These kind of stories become very important because they tell you how the extremist elements who were at one point a threat to the internal security can become a part of mainstream, can believe in the democratic discourse and aid the process of development in the state of Chhattisgarh. Various parts that still await basic development which needs to be seen. We saw the senior police officials from Bastar region coming out and voting, and these are all the images, the stories which will encourage people to come out in huge numbers. The image on your screen right now, and the fact that this image is flashing on TV screens, being put out in the social media, is a loud message to all the naxal elements who deter people from voting. In different parts, as my colleague has been reporting, there is a huge internal security concern, in fact, a threat perception which has existed in multiple districts where the Naxals have said, especially in Sukma, in Bijapur, that if you go out and vote, it could be a threat to your life. But despite that, people have come out in huge numbers. There was a gentleman on a wheelchair, an elderly person, women who have come out in huge numbers who have voted. They outnumber the male voters right now. You saw the reports by my colleague Manoj Sharma as well. There are people at the polling booths who have been waiting since morning in Chitrakoot. These are heartening stories of consolidation of democracy, democratic processes in different parts in hinterland where the democratic process is yet to be established far more firmly so that development can go forward. Now, if you go back to the history of the state of Chhattisgarh, and we are particularly talking about the Naxal-dominated belt, Jan Jangal Zameen, people, land and resources have dominated the discourse, the political discourse. This was one of the fundamental reasons why Chhattisgarh was carved out of Madhya Pradesh so that better development can take place. The state government and central government in coordinated efforts have made huge steps in ensuring that the red corridor is eliminated from India's map. The effect and dominance or any kind of influence that these Naxal elements have is put down as much as possible, and that has happened. Going forward, more and more areas can get a primary health care center. They can get basic education and the development that they deserve as the citizens of this country. Let's talk to Arunima. She's been reporting from the ground. This is a former female commander of the Amdai area committee of Naxalites. And Arunima, these visuals, these images are very important.
Yeah, the symbolism of it is extremely important. Somebody who had enforced boycott of democratic process of election for 13 long years, somebody who's used the power of the gun to tell people to not come out and vote, now finally realizing the power of that ballot. So from that to now, her life has turned a full circle, and I have been speaking to officials on the ground. This seems to be their strategy as well, that for the local tribals, the way the CPI Maoist structure is made, the top leadership is mostly people who were from erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. Now most of their districts are in Telangana. So the top leadership is not really from Chhattisgarh. It is the people in the middle rung and in the local Janatan Sarkar, which is the lowest level of CPI Maoists. Those are the tribals who are at the forefront. So when an encounter happens, the maximum casualty could be for them because they are in the outer ring. To convince them that they are being used as cannon fodder, to convince them that it is the power of the ballots that will give them development, to convince them that this ideology that your resources are going to be taken away by the government is not the correct ideology. That is the real win for the system. And like I said, officers on the ground have been telling me that has been their approach, encouraging surrenders, encouraging the tribal population here to become a part of mainstream and avoid encounters which results in the local population taking the bullet, and that antagonizes people even more. So that approach is also working, it seems.
Arunima, before we talk about more issues that have dominated the political discourse, any numbers, any trends that we're getting in terms of number of people who have come out and voted? Of course, there are special circumstances that exist in the Naxal belt. Yes, please go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, the numbers have just come, Anusha. I am just give me a moment. So I'm just reading out the numbers to you. Most encouraging figure has come from Narayanpur. Narayanpur till about 9 a.m. had 12% voting. Rajnandgaon is almost half, 6.43. Rajnandgaon, Dr. Raman Singh's constituency. Dr. Raman Singh himself will vote from Kavardha, and we are told that voting could happen around 4 o'clock. Before that, he's keeping an eye on the rest of the state, even though he has not been declared effectively. He's the CM face as far as BJP is concerned. So Rajnandgaon is seeing 6.43% voting till about 9 o'clock. Bijapur, extremely low, 4.5% till 9 a.m. Bijapur is one of those districts where Naxals have thrown pamphlets at every nook and corner, threatening poll officials, and Bijapur and Sukma are two heavily Naxal affected districts. Kanker, 15.9%. Bhanu Pratappur 16.9%, Antagar 17.44%. Kanker again important, 15.9% is important because in the last 2 days, Kanker has seen the maximum number of incidents. In fact, the report that has just come to me says that in the Kukanar area of Kanker, one more IED has exploded, injuring one DRG Jawan. DRG is the District Reserve Guard of the Chhattisgarh Police. So one more incident has been reported from Kanker, the third one in the last 36 hours or so, and in spite of that, people of Kanker coming out and voting. We are told it is almost touching 16% now. Voting began early in this area from 7 a.m.
I'm trying to look at the numbers that have come in, especially from the Bastar region in the last few years. And if you look at since the 1980s up to 2018, the voter percentage has significantly gone up. Is there a comparative analysis that you can put out compared to 2018? What do the trends tell you, Arunima? What do the numbers tell you?
So I will be very upbeat about the numbers that are coming in from Kanker and Narayanpur. These are areas. What is Narayanpur? Narayanpur is the gateway to Abujmar. To give you a sense of Abujmar was a name given. Mar is jungle. Abuj is something you cannot penetrate. Yeah. So that was such heavily forested area that you just couldn't penetrate Abujmar, and that's why it became the center of the Naxal movement here in Chhattisgarh. From there till now, when Narayanpur has turned a leaf over, Narayanpur numbers are very encouraging. Kanker we've already spoken about. In spite of these incidents of IDs happening, Kanker is coming out and voting. The real area of concern will be Konta in Sukma and in Bijapur, because Naxals have been pushed away from the other districts of Bastar division, and now their core area is Sukma and Bijapur. In Tondamarka in Sukma, you've already seen this morning one incident happening, one CRPF personnel getting ankle injury, being airlifted to Raipur. Bijapur, we have not heard anything so far, but the voting percentage is very low. But this is, usually the voting here is, and we are in November. It's supposed to be, chilly, but the heat here is unbearable even in November. And therefore voters mostly come out, try and finish it off before the sun hits its peak. Yeah. So in the next 2 hours, that window is significant. We have to see how much voters can really push the number up. But so far, it looks encouraging.
It looks encouraging, and the numbers are encouraging. If you look at the numbers in Bastar and also in Rajnandgaon, but especially in Bastar, in the last few decades, the voting percentage has significantly gone up. And as Arunima was pointing out, in various districts and areas where there was a high threat perception, even there, the voters turnout has been very, very encouraging. Thank you.